Lately, nothing has been fun to me. Nothing has brought me joy. The things I used to love no longer make me excited. The things I do are nothing more than objectives that must be finished, and I have become numb. I started reading Silver Surfer because someone begged me to in the comments, and honestly, I just didn't know what to read, what to write, and the thought of making this video was nothing more to me than just something I have to get done. I didn't know much about the guy besides his Fantastic Four cameos and that he was Galactus's lackey, but he is so much more than that. And honestly, he deserves a lot of respect and praise. Norrin Radd came from a planet where everything was figured out. No war, no sickness, everything was perfect, and he became disappointed with it. He felt nothing. No strong emotions. He craved to have the days of adventure, conflict, and days filled with excitement. His wife, who loved him so much, noticed that he had become disappointed with his life, and she was sad that she could not provide something that would make him feel happy, and it made her sad too. One day Galactus came upon Norrin Radd's homeworld, and he was going to eat it, but in an effort to save his home, Norrin Radd offered his life to serve as Galactus's herald, in exchange for his homeworld being protected, and Galactus agreed. Norrin planned on finding planets that had no life on them, so that way he could save trillions of lives, make sure Galactus was happy, and overall just be a good person who got to explore the universe. He was kind of excited at the idea to see countless worlds and things that no man has ever seen. When Norrin Radd became Silver Surfer, he lost everything that made him a man. He became a being who no longer needed to breathe, didn't need to eat, didn't need to sleep, and he was beyond powerful. He also lost all of his memories, causing him to lose his original mission and forgetting his past. He eventually finds himself on Earth, and in the original comic book run, he runs into the Fantastic Four. He finds nothing wrong with providing food for his master, but is convinced by Alicia Masters, Ben Grimm's girlfriend, that life is something worth saving, and Silver Surfer finds a reason to protect life and rebels against Galactus and stops him from eating Earth. And this original comic book run really doesn't have the Fantastic Four in it, at least interacting with Silver Surfer. And this run was really good. I really like the interactions that Silver Surfer had with Alicia and the Earth, and just understanding the value and what's the point of, just being human. And something I found really interesting as well is that it was pointed out that Silver Surfer just feels so lonely. I watched the Silver Surfer cartoon, and I actually really love the arc they do in this. In the Silver Surfer cartoon, he finds Earth and realizes that the people of Earth are more primitive than other planets, but they love and care, and they have thoughts, and they have feelings. And it started to awaken his memories that he had of his homeworld. He started to remember his life, and he fights against Galactus, remembering his original goal and his mission, and also feeling cheated out by Galactus by getting his memories taken away because that wasn't in the original deal. So Galactus says, you know what? I can no longer trust you, Silver Surfer. You can keep your powers, but not as a gift, but as a curse. And Galactus pretty much says that throughout the universe, he'll be marked with Galactus's calling, and so people will know that he was a herald of Galactus, and he will have to live forever, and he will have to live as this thing that does not need hunger, sleep, anything. He won't be able to become a man again. I find Norrin Radd's story some of the most noble things in comic books. Like I said, I didn't really know much about the Silver Surfer, but finding out that he sacrificed his life in order to save planets, and the whole reason he became Galactus's herald is in the hopes of protecting multiple planets, like hundreds of thousands of people, trillions of people around the universe. And it's just really, really awesome and noble, but it's also just so sad that he wanted something for himself. He had always dreamed of going beyond, having adventures, and now that he gets that, he finds himself so empty. The man who wanted to travel among the stars is able to do it, but realizes that space is empty and lonely. The Silver Surfer has many more adventures and stories, but throughout them, you always just have this feeling and sense of pain and disconnection. He always feels so distant from everyone else in the stories and is constantly trying to regain his humanity back. He feels like he's trying to learn how to become human again. A lot of the Silver Surfer stories I read, the Silver Surfer sees problems, and he tries to figure out how it happens, how these problems happen, and why the solution does not happen. Almost giving the viewer a different perspective of situations we experience. It's just so interesting that the Silver Surfer tries to understand people and worlds, but it also shows them their own faults. He shows them like how they could fix it if they're willing to. And he finds beauty in it all. He finds beauty in the war. He finds beauty in the people's struggles. He finds just beauty in life. The Silver Surfer story I'd really like to highlight, and honestly just made me fall in love with Silver Surfer, is Silver Surfer Requiem. The story is about Silver Surfer as he begins to feel strange, so he goes to see Mr. Fantastic and finds out that his cosmic powers are killing him and soon he will be dead. Accepting his fate, he decides to live his last couple days to the fullest instead of mourning his death. In this time, he tries to figure out ways to save the Earth and ends up talking to Spider-Man. And Spider-Man and him try to brainstorm ideas, Spider-Man coming up with ideas such as like he could go around stopping corrupt governments, giving food to people. But in the end, they realize that anything that they could do to save Earth would eventually come to an end or may even make things worse. So for a couple minutes, they just sit there. By the end of it, Spidey comes up with an idea to show Earth something beyond itself. Show Earth that it is so much smaller and so much less in the grand scheme of the whole universe, and yet that it's beautiful. So for a couple minutes, Silver Surfer shows the people the vast universe and how they are all so just small in the grand scheme of things and how beautiful our reality is. And Spider-Man thanks Silver Surfer and says goodbye. I would really recommend that you read this story on your own. There is so much in this story that I found really thought-provoking, really just beautiful, and overall just it proves that Silver Surfer is awesome. There's this part in the comic where Silver Surfer comes across these two planets who are fighting amongst each other. They're fighting over different religious views, one side thinking that the other is corrupt and monsters, and the other side thinking they're sacrilegious, and so they're fighting amongst each other. And Silver Surfer finds these two beings who are amongst all of them. They're the leaders of both planets, and they're sitting there watching the fights happen, the chaos happen, these wars happen that have been going on for millions of years. And Silver Surfer asks why this is happening and why they aren't fighting down there with their people. And, they're letting hundreds of people die, and yet they just sit up here in their thrones and watch. And they're just like, yeah, we don't really care about them. We're just fighting for our goals. Like, we don't really want to fight for them. And Silver Surfer finds this wrong. So he destroys both of these sacred places on these planets. He just destroys their weapons on both sides and goes to the people and says, listen, if sacred things are the reasons like you're fighting, then everything should be sacred and you should protect each other's lives, human beings' lives. Like, you guys should not fight for these people who are just watching you guys die. And like I said, there's just so many more stories, so many more tales in this comic that I think just really speak to Silver Surfer's character. And I think the whole message of this story, this Silver Surfer Requiem, is why do we always notice and appreciate and love things when it's gone, when it's leaving, when it's about to be something that's a memory? I've been thinking really heavily on this topic, and it made me come to the realization that we have this illusion of owning something, and it takes away from its beauty. When we own something or have someone in our lives, we come to the conclusion that they will always be there. We will always have these things, and it isn't true. Things can be broken, taken. People can leave, die, disappear. The idea of having something takes away from its true value. When you were younger and you borrowed or rented a game, you played the crap out of it, and you valued every second of it because you knew one day you wouldn't be able to play the game. You knew that this wasn't yours and that the things and the time you had with it was temporary. You value things that aren't yours and the things that won't last forever. Therefore, I don't want to value anything. I don't want to own anything. I want everything and everyone in my life to be something I value every moment of, so that when they are no longer with me, so that way when I no longer have these things, I know that I truly took care of those times we had together, and I truly enjoyed these moments. You begin to feel, you begin to value, once you realize that nothing is more than a moment that will fade away. Now you have to decide to enjoy it, and I know I will. When will we look at the things around us and enjoy them, and also work to make things better? The Silver Surfer shows us that we can love something while also continuing to improve it for others. Norrin Radd was a man who traveled among the galaxy, had unbelievable power, and yet he still craved the things that he gave up. His home, his friends, his love. Despite his situation, he used it for the good of others and spends his life showing worlds the value of life and the value of your own existence. The Silver Surfer has seriously taught me a lesson, and honestly has become one of my favorite characters. I just enjoy seeing him just inspire hope into these planets. I just take away from his lessons of valuing your own life, your loved ones, your friends. And we always think that the grass is greener on the other side. We always think that the adventures, our days are boring. We wish we had this, and that. But the things that we truly want are right in front of us. But guess what? No matter the situation you're in, no matter what your goals are, you can make the best out of it. You can help anybody in your situation. You can keep striving for a better tomorrow. You can keep improving yourself. And the Silver Surfer is truly one of those people in Marvel Comics that needs more recognition. He needs more praise because his lessons truly matter and I think are important today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name's Canned Ideas. I hope you guys are inspired, and I hope you keep moving forward. Love you guys.